Hello, my name is Jack Garland, and today we're going to be talking about Rob Manfred, the commissioner that ruined a nearly perfect game, that game being baseball. Let's get down into it. So, in a nutshell, here's my basic argument. Rob Manfred is a horrible commissioner. And I know this because he changed baseball when baseball never needed any fixing in the first place. Baseball and its rules were already complete and structurally sound well before Rob ever became the commissioner. In my opinion, MLB's problems were more about its presentation and how it was distributed to the fans, or lack thereof. Rob, he incorrectly diagnosed the game itself as being the problem. He thinks that baseball was not a watchable product. And so he made changes. These changes were implemented, and they've resulted in what I call an unnecessary permanent damage to baseball's competitive integrity. What are we even playing for? This game is not even what it used to be. It's a completely different game. These rule changes do have real impacts, and it's not for the better, it's for the worse. Let's talk about what the role of a commissioner even is. What do you think a commissioner should do? In my opinion, there's two main sides of what they do. They are protecting and promoting the integrity of their sport. In my opinion, they should love the sport that they're a commissioner of, and they should want that sport to be healthy and for its legacy to live on forever. And in conjunction with that comes the business side. It is the commissioner's job. They are responsible for strengthening the economics of the league, both today and in the future. Let's talk about what a commissioner should not do. A commissioner should not control or manipulate the product, the sport. It's not their place to decide this is how the game should be played. Let's tinker with this so that this happens. That's ridiculous. It should not be the commissioner's goal, especially in baseball, an untimed sport, to be optimizing pace. They should not be concerned with designing outcomes. They're manufacturing runs and action and all this stuff. And it's not real baseball anymore. And it completely messes up when we're comparing to previous generations. There's a lot of problems with it, but let's just dive more. So Rob Manfred had a false diagnosis about what was wrong with uh, baseball and where it was headed and its popularity. So the game was dying, but again, it wasn't the game's fault, it was Rob's fault. What Rob thought was broken was that people were losing interest because the games were just too long. People today with their TikTok brains just could not get themselves to watch over 3 hours of baseball. People are losing their attention spans, and it resulted in baseball declining in popularity while other sports such as football and basketball were rising. And I think that, it partially has to do with this highlight era that we live in, and those sports are just better for highlights. Baseball is more about a slow burn. It's the drama that builds up over 9 innings. Anyways, uh, that's all Rob saw, but what he ignored, what was actually broken, was how the game was distributed. There was blackouts and the streaming is all over the place, and you have no idea where to find games. And if you want to watch a game for a team in a different market, good luck. There's baseball has a problem with weak national storytelling. I mean, you hear about like maybe one or two stories a year. This past year was Cal Raleigh hitting over 60 homers as a catcher, but it's just like every team has that one guy or several guys who are just balling out, whether it's a 20-game hit streak or whatever. Everyone should be plugged into what's going on around the country, but that hasn't been the case. And then, of course, the major issue that Rob has failed to address, or he's addressing in the worst way possible via the salary cap, is the tanking and the uncompetitive owners and franchises. The Dodgers are not the problem. Everyone else is the problem. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, I want to take you back to a time before Rob Manfred was ever the commissioner of baseball, and it was still great. What was baseball's identity and its core strength, really? It was its pace, its slower pace. You sat your ass back in your big chair and you just watched the game unfold. You never knew where it was going to go. You wanted to take in all the strategy, and time was a major factor in that strategy. Pitchers, in particular, would use tempo to their advantage as a weapon. Like think about Johnny Cueto or Marcus Stroman. There's a lot of good pitchers that need timing and tempo to be successful, and they're not wrong for that. Like they shouldn't be punished. They did nothing wrong. The game allowed it. The game actually encouraged it. But Rob Manfred came along. Anyways, another identity of baseball before Rob was defenses just naturally adjusting to what was happening. The situation, the batter, all these things call for shifts, aligning, putting yourself in an advantageous position to prevent runs. Rob stepped in and got rid of that. And this all led to the best of the best making themselves clear over a long period of time, over an entire career. You could tell who was great and who was just okay and who was bad. And it's okay. If you're bad, we're not going to cater to you. If you're just okay, we're not going to cater to you. The game caters to no one. The game is the game. If you're great at it, you're great at it. If you're not, get better or just accept that you're not great. Like, sorry. Ultimately, in baseball, tension, these moments mattered more than motion, the flashy displays of athletic ability. That's not what baseball is about. You see that in football and you see that in basketball. That's not what baseball has ever been about. So here's a snapshot at some of the rule changes that, the main ones that have been implemented during Rob's tenure as commissioner of Major League Baseball. You can see I've broken it down into three categories or columns for us to, easily see. We have the specific rule on the left, the scope or how often it has an impact in the middle, and on the right, I categorize these into different types of intervention that, Rob implemented. The first one is obviously the pitch clock, which has an effect on every single pitch. And this is Rob controlling the process of baseball. He's meddling when he shouldn't be. Then there's the shift ban. Every time a ball is hit into play, potentially the shift ban is at work. This is restricting strategy. In the name of what? More runs? Why? What? Bigger bases were added to the game. It's easier to steal bases. This affects every single base runner. Whenever there's a base runner, thank God there's bigger bases for you, pal. It's going to be easier to get to the next one safely. This is manufacturing, again, artificially inflating the outcomes of these games. And then the freaking ghost runner, which thankfully only impacts extra innings. And it is, in that regard, somewhat of a contained gimmick. And they're containing the duration of these games and ultimately turning the games into a freaking gimmick. Just drives me crazy. Let's take a more in-depth look into each of these rule changes Rob has implemented. The pitch clock. I consider this to be the most damaging to the sport of baseball because, again, baseball is not a time sport. Now Rob is making it one because he just wants to get his ass home. He's bored. He hates watching it. He wants to minimize the amount of time that we all have watching a baseball game. We enjoy it. He wants to cut down our time enjoying life. So anyways, when it comes down to what it does to the game, like we were talking about earlier, tempo and timing is a weapon for these pitchers and even base runners. The pitch clock removes entirely the player's control of this time, their manipulation of, keeping batters off tempo. And this in turn dulls the strategy of the game, which is not good. And it just creates this unnecessary rhythm to the game where it's just like, okay, pitch, Catcher throws the ball back, 15, 14, down, 3, 2, 1. Okay, got a pitch. Batter's like, okay, 3, 2, 1, got a pitch. Boom, I'm ready. And it's just, it makes it easier for batters. And now you got Joe Schmoes who couldn't handle timing before. Now they don't have to worry about that. They know when that pitch is coming, and all they have to do at this point is tell if it's going to be a strike, if it's going to be a fastball, or whatever. It's ridiculous. The other thing the pitch clock unfortunately does is it limits recovery for these pitchers in between pitches. I don't know if you've ever pitched before, but when you throw a nasty, you put everything into a fastball or you have a nasty curveball, sometimes you just want to, loosen up your arm, like get the muscles just like relaxed because it's kind of like all twisted and stiff or whatever. And you just want to more time in between pitches is good for the arm. Not only that, but no time in between pitches or a defined set time in between pitches completely takes away all deception from the pitchers. Which again, we might as well be playing t-ball at this point. It's ridiculous. Pitchers don't just go up there and be like, I'm going to throw it fast past you. Like, these pitches are called off-speed pitches so that they can manipulate timing. Like, it's all part of the game. And so, in a nutshell, what do we have here? Procedural failures that are added to the game. You have to abide by our procedures. If you don't, it's going to affect the overall competition. Procedural failures are now intertwined with competition. The game is not what it's used to be. It's completely different. These procedural failures are a unfortunately meaningful part of the game. Ridiculous. And again, let's talk about what this actually does to baseball. As a whole, these changes, as far as the pitch clock, reduces the dominance of the most elite pitchers in the game. The ones who did master the art of manipulating timing and using it to their advantage, they don't have that advantage anymore. The pitchers or the batters can just go up there and be more ready, be more confident, make the pitcher really throw it by them, which is asking a bit too much of the pitchers and not enough of the hitters. This inflates offense artificially. Runs that wouldn't have been scored before are now getting scored. This is rewarding predictability when baseball is supposed to be unpredictable. The pitch, you're not supposed to know what pitch is coming. The game is supposed to be unpredictable. And who wants to watch predictable sports? Where's the drama in that? And in turn, at the end of the day, you end up with a narrower skill gap. The best of the best are not as obvious, and the worst of the worst are getting mixed in with average players because it's easier to play and it's harder to dominate as a pitcher. Instead of having amazing and not so good, everyone's mid. This is awesome to watch, right? No. The games are closer, but that doesn't mean that's what they should be. It's artificial. We get these fewer iconic and transcendent performances. Like, thank God we have Shohei. If we didn't have Shohei, this league would be so mid. So mid. And there's less individuality. Like I was bringing up earlier, the Johnny Cuetos, the Marcus Stromans of the world, those are unique guys. In baseball, provide an opportunity for mental athletes to compete. It's not just can you throw bigger, faster, like whatever. There's less individuality. The bottom line is that parity in the league does not equate to quality. The game is not more entertaining with these changes. It's just a different game, a duller game. It's so sad. Let's talk about the shift ban, which was mandated offense. Let's put it into law, make it easier to score. What was the shift ban? The shift was a strategic adaptation of managers and defenses over the years. These teams, baseball is all about statistics and analytics. Well, we've got stats on every single player and every pitcher, and the pitches that these players like to hit, and where they like to hit it. We can predict where these guys are going to hit the ball on average. If a guy hits the ball just over the second baseman's head every single time, it would be stupid to not back your second baseman up. It would be stupid to not do that. Ultimately, there was a period where the shift was not banned and offense went down. And the players that could not adjust struggled and got their ass out of the league. Then they banned the shift, and those guys can go back to getting their easy singles there. But what kind of a message does that send? It says we want to replace intelligence and skill with regulation. If the game is getting harder, don't worry, guys. I know the bottom of the league that's really struggling with this, that can't adjust, we'll make it easier on you. I don't know why, but let's do it. And we'll just, again, in a nutshell, what is really happening? They said, let's just outlaw strategy instead of saying, let's let the best players and teams beat this strategy. Let's let the strategy continue to evolve. They didn't do that. They just took it into their own hands and they said, no more strategy. Such a joke. The next issue that Rob added, the bigger bases. You might not think it's a big deal, but it's just one more thing that Rob's just sliding in there, no pun intended, for you to not notice that he's changing the game to make it into something that he thinks people who don't even like baseball will now all of a sudden like. The game never needed any changing. If you can score, congratulations. If you can prevent runs, congratulations. Whatever happens, happens. Let's just sit back and watch. That was not Rob's mentality. Rob wanted the games to be over quickly, and he wanted there to be a lot of runs. He thinks that that's a fast-paced action. Rob wants to fucking be the commissioner of basketball, apparently, because that's not baseball. The bigger bases. What did that do to the game? It made the distance to steal a little bit shorter. And when it was already so close, whether or not someone was safe or out prior to these changes, now it just got a little bit easier to steal bases. Surprise, surprise, the success rates went up for steals, of course. And if you can steal more, you're going to score more, of course. Congratulations, Rob. You artificially created more runs. Is the product better? No. This changes steals from, again, when they were earned, actual baseball. Stealing a base is a high-risk signal of excellence. You have to be incredibly fast and have great timing, ding, ding, ding timing, to be able to steal a base. Not everyone can do it. Albert Pujols is not stealing any bases. Like it. Whatever. It took stealing bases from a high-risk signal of excellence to system-encouraged behavior. Catchers and pitchers are just getting screwed. This guy gets an easy stolen base, and you just look up at Rob, like, what the hell, man? And he's just like, not my fucking problem. Apparently, the numbers are up. Deal with it. Crazy. The Ghost Runner. My God, I hate the Ghost Runner. You go to extra innings, and now all of a sudden, there's just a base runner on second base. The hitting team did nothing to put that base runner on second base, and now they're so close to winning the game that they couldn't win in the first 9 innings of the game. But now Rob's like, holy shit, how long have I been here? Get me the hell out of there. Just end this shit. Ridiculous. So what did the Ghost Runner do? Why is it so bad for baseball? It ends games earlier than they should end. The game should not be ending, but it's ending. When we were in the World Series and you got 18 inning games and everyone's losing their mind, like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Guess what, pal? That could be happening all the time in the regular season. But Rob doesn't like baseball. Rob wants you to spend less time watching baseball. He's in charge. He does not like watching baseball. It's a joke. The Ghost Runner, putting a free base runner on second base, creates run scoring. Again, these teams didn't even earn the base runner. And so what does that enable? It allows these games to be decided by one little bloop single to center field. Or not even a single. 2 sacrifice bunts can move a ghost runner from second to home. You could literally throw a perfect game, go out there for the 10th inning, give up 2 sacrifice bunts, and you lose the game. It's a joke, it's a joke, it's a joke. It's not baseball. And again, it goes back to this rewards the execution of gimmicks, not actually being better. The better team loses because of this rule change. Ridiculous. This in turn means that extra innings, the most exciting baseball, is now just a coin flip. Who cares who wins at this point? I'm bored. I want to go home, says Rob. Rob has effectively made it so that exhaustion is wrongly being used as an excuse or justification for distorting the game. Oh, well, the players must be tired. I mean, we're running out of pitchers, so let's just end this shit. No. How about, wow, I can't believe that Yamamoto's going in there. He just pitched yesterday. Oh my gosh, that's like what we want to see. But Rob doesn't like baseball. Rob didn't give a shit when Yamamoto did that in the World Series. Joke. There are people who completely have no problem with everything Rob's doing. And they don't even like baseball, in my opinion. And they're just saying, dude, what are you talking about? Baseball's in a great place. Fucking Jeff Passan, baseball's in the best place it's ever been. You don't like baseball either, Jeff. Like, sorry, bro. If you're happy with where baseball is at, just because it's like the numbers are good, you're a sellout, man. You're a sellout. This is why saying the numbers say it worked is not good enough. While, yeah, Rob did accomplish his goal, the games are shorter. Apparently, more people are coming to the game. There is a marginal attendance bump. But you know what these metrics aren't measuring is the impact on the game. The game has a loss of texture. It feels like it's not even humans out there. It's just robots playing. T-ball. It's a joke. And the richness of the strategy is completely dulled down. Like 8-year-olds could be managers of MLB teams. There's no strategy. The pitchers, they're not like mentally winning these battles. You just need to get a guy who throws harder and harder and harder. And so what did this do to fans like me? It made me pissed off. And if you're a real fan of baseball, you should be pissed off because the greatest game ever created doesn't exist anymore. It does not exist. And that will take fans like me. I'm not going to watch this shit. I'm not. You shouldn't either. If you claim to like baseball, you shouldn't be watching this crap. Over time, if these changes don't get reversed, the beautiful, original, great game of baseball, true baseball, is not getting taught and passed down to the next generation. This new generation is watching dudes backflip and challenge balls and strike calls and all this BS. And they think they're watching baseball, but they're just watching Rob Manfred baseball. It's the saddest thing ever. Rob ultimately sacrificed his stewardship for the game for business optimization. He had 2 paths to pick. I could either stand by baseball or I can say, everyone's right, baseball's boring as shit. Let's do whatever we can to just make the league more money. As long as I make more money for the owners, it's all good, right? No, Rob. Horrible. Continuing on what I'm talking about, the ownership incentive. This is why Rob is making all these changes and he hasn't been stopped. Owners love Rob Manfred. Owners, it's getting at the point where they don't even like, it's like they have completely forgotten they own a baseball team that entire cities really care a lot about. They think it's just another investment, which is ridiculous. And Rob views the MLB as just another business. Rob created faster games. This makes broadcasting easier in a lot of ways. This predictability of when the game is going to end and how long innings are, it helps advertisers. It's a more consistent product. It's not baseball, but it's a more consistent product. And all of this control favors the owners. When everything's easier to broadcast and the advertisers are happy, the product is worth more money, the owners make more money. Of course they're happy. They don't give a shit about baseball. They give a shit about their money. They're billionaires. What do you expect? The sad reality is that changing the rules is easier than fixing media rights. which is what Rob could have done to maintain the sanctity of baseball and still make some money for everyone. But Rob couldn't do that. Rob chose not to do that. Rob had no problem changing baseball. Let's talk about what should have been done instead. I've come up with some better solutions than what Rob did with changing the rules of baseball and making it into not baseball. The MLB has a streaming and distribution problem. If I want to watch the Brewers, I can't. I don't know where to go. If I want to watch the Marlins or the Reds, I can't. I don't know where to go. If I want to watch the Yankees, I can't. I don't know where to go. I get whatever game is my local channel and then maybe a fucking Braves game on TBS. You can't watch any games. How are we supposed to expect fans to get into baseball when they can't even watch it, Rob? MLB has all this control, right? Just use that control and create one MLB app where every game can be viewed. And don't make it too expensive. It's not too expensive. Like, just do the supply and demand. Find out how much you can sell and still have it be worth it. And more fans might be better economically. Everyone should be able to watch every game. You can minimize the time spent on these commercials. I know you care only about the fucking ads and not the game itself, but you can spend less time on commercials if you care so much about bringing down the overall time of the game. Some of these replay reviews that you added in, which honestly I'm fine with, like certain calls, like it is bullshit when they get it wrong. Of course, I love an umpire getting it wrong, but I also like a call being right. But if you're gonna do it, you like some of these plays. Same thing happens in football where it's like they're bang bang plays, and when you slow it down to a microscopic level. You can now all of a sudden, oh, actually it was out. But to the human eye, which is what umpires have, which is what you have, when we don't have slow motion eyes, like sometimes you don't see it that way. They should be capping how long these replay reviews go. Just make a decision. It's been a minute and a half, make a decision. He's safe. Shorten the length of the game. And again, just keep the conversation going on whether or not it was a correct call. MLB should have been penalizing owners and their teams for tanking. Okay? People have a lot of problem with what the Dodgers are doing. The Dodgers are competing. The Dodgers are using their money on their own team, not on their owners' fucking bank accounts. Like, penalize owners who aren't even trying to win. And again, like I was saying earlier, the NFL has like 17 games, 18 weeks. The MLB has 162 games. It's a different product. The MLB has long seasons, tons of action, compact into several months. Streaks happen, all sorts of things happen. The MLB needs to do a better job of storytelling about the narratives that happen throughout the year. Yeah. And really, above all else, Rob messed up by changing the game. He should have kept the game untouched. There would be a chance that we still have amazing baseball and everyone can make money. But Rob couldn't get it done. So now that we've gone through everything, or mostly everything Rob's done to the game, what is his overall impact on Major League Baseball? How will history remember him? I believe history will remember Rob Manfred as an effective executive who catered to owners. If that's what his job is, he did it. He is still, simultaneously, a very poor steward of the game. He did not protect the game. He damaged the competitive soul and spirit of the sport. He turned baseball into robot t-ball. It's a human, artistic, unique sport. Strategic. He took it all out. He wants it to be shorter. I'm fucking bored. Get me out of here. That's Rob. And he's in charge. So let's make the distinction clear. Rob may have stabilized the business of Major League Baseball, of the MLB, but he changed the game of baseball forever, and he doesn't even care. He thinks he's justified because owners are richer. So then what is our final verdict on Rob? Well, Rob Manfred has been a horrible MLB commissioner because he misdiagnosed and he fixed the wrong problem, which in turn created new problems. He was intervening when it wasn't his place. He meddled and he tinkered, and he should have just been sitting back. He's a dickhead. He replaced trust in the players, trust in the game with control. It wasn't his place to do so. He mistook the pace of the game for the game's health. This is someone who never loved baseball, who saw baseball as a slow, boring sport. And if TikTok brain kids aren't watching it, then we should probably change it so the TikTok brain kids are watching it. Make it into something they can tolerate. Baseball itself never needed saving and needed a commissioner who was confident in it. Someone who stood by it and said, this is the best sport ever. Let's make sure everyone can watch it and appreciate it and learn from it and keep this tradition going. But instead, Rob has made it clear that he does not love baseball. He will not protect the competitive integrity of the game. And so, he must be replaced immediately. Otherwise, the future of baseball is doomed forever. Thank you very much.